Ever since Flight Sim 2024 released and disappointed me with its career mode, I've been looking for a Flight Sim career mode progression application that scratches that itch. And the latest I've been trying is Fly the Line Short Haul Edition by Just Flight, which puts a very unique twist on the career mode concept that I've honestly never seen before. So let's get started. First is going to ask you for the location of your Flight Sim's scenery folders, because later when it generates your flight schedule, it's actually going to prioritize airports that you have scenery for. Now let's set up our profile. First, I put my name in, blue, of course, and as you can see here, there's a lot of different profile photos that you can choose from that are pre-made. I'm obviously going to go and look for something that looks more relatable. Next are character traits, and you can pick 2 of these, but this actually plays a very important role in career mode because Fly the Line has a whole lifestyle simulation, and these traits can give you boost in different areas depending on how you choose to spend your time between flights. They actually put a lot of focus on outside the cockpit, whether it be hobbies or physical fitness, social, hanging out with friends. Like, we'll see a bit of that later. It's very interesting. Next, diversions I'll set to rare because yeah, and we'll choose JetBlue as my airline today. They do have pretty much every major airline you can think of in their database, which is cool, except I did try to search for like a private jet airline, but they didn't have any of those in the system. So if you want to do something like a charter airline, you're gonna probably have to go the fictional route and create your own fictional airline for that purpose. But once you choose your airline, you can choose our base hub or ICAO, which can be anywhere that JetBlue flies. And there's a lot of options here. I'm gonna choose JFK. There's 78 routes I can fly out of JFK, so we'll choose that. Okay, for aircraft cruise speed, since JetBlue only flies A320s, jet airliners make sense here, but they also have options for turboprops as well. As for flight duration, we'll do minimum 1 hour, max 3 hours, 45 minutes. That makes sense to me. There are advanced options here if you want to get a bit more specific, but we'll skip that. We'll keep our start month as current, and we'll do 2 sectors a day. Find routes. There it is. There are all the JetBlue flights that are within an hour to 3 hours, 45 minutes. So we can just hit accept, or we can amend it if you want to make changes. So I'm actually going to go to 4 hours because I want to reach the Caribbean. There we go. So let's accept that and create schedule. Your schedule is ready. It's 107 possible sectors generated. Wow. All right, next we need to put in some information for our aircraft we'll be flying today. And we'll start with a template, I guess. But first we'll choose our sim, which will be Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. Our aircraft template will be the airline Jet A320. And then it wants me just to type in my aircraft name and the ICAO. Now there's a lot of things that I can change in here, but I'm just gonna leave it as is for now.
Good morning, I'm Captain Steed, and I'll be looking after you during your time here. First day flying the line, right? Nothing to worry about. You'll do just fine.
Hi, I'm Captain Barrett. I'll also be showing you the ropes. Nice to meet you. We'll be monitoring your flights and giving you feedback after each sector. You'll fly a series of early and late shifts. Your shift pattern will be 5 days on duty and 4 days off duty. At the end of each flight, you'll be rated on your flight performance. After each shift, you'll need to decide on what to do in your spare time. How much spare time you have will depend on how the day has gone. You'll need to carefully balance between work, rest, and play. Just remember, if you choose to burn the candle at both ends, you will become fatigued. This may impact how you feel, your health, your performance, and many other factors.
Pay attention to what you do after work, as this will influence how you spend your off-duty days. As you fly more, you'll earn holiday and sick day entitlement. You'll also gain XP, financial bonuses, and skill points, which will open up more opportunities as you progress. By the way, you don't have to fly all 4 sectors in a single sitting. You can fly one at a time whenever you like. It's up to you. The next screen is your dashboard. This is where you'll see your sectors, stats, skill tree, and more. You can also view a briefing for each sector via Simbrief. You'll start and end each flight from your dashboard. All right, that's it for now. Remember to relax and enjoy yourself. You'll do just fine. See you at the aircraft.
And now to the dashboard, and I gotta say, I actually do like the UI. It's very simple, it's clean, easy to understand. Got notifications up top, we got our bank balance, we have our net worth on the right here, we got our skill points, we have our holiday accrual, our medical examination days, we got health, job performance, fatigue, personal life, mood. Again, all the lifestyle simulation stuff is actually very interesting and unique. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Down here we have our schedule, our first schedule, which is JFK to Fayetteville and back. So our first stage is 2 legs, 2 sectors, and that is it. But you can see our map here on the right. When I click on it, it shows the details here, flight information, our departure time, which is very important, and our time until pushback, and other flight details. Let's look at our profile. And there is a lot of stats, a lot of information here. Everything's broken down very nicely, but we'll probably look at this again later as our career progresses. I think it'll be more interesting later. Next, we have our assets, and look at that. We have a house already here, and a nice 3D model of a house here that we can move around. We have a gym, a sim pit, a bathroom, just 1 bathroom, a kitchen, a lounge. Wow, bedroom. I mean, this is like a flight simmer's dream house. It seems like it's sadly empty, but we do have a garage. So maybe we can get a car a little bit later on. I guess we'll see. Also, on the next page, we have, I guess, the ability to buy an aircraft, like a small GA aircraft, single prop, turbo prop, or a jet. That's kind of cool. And then we have skills. So we have multiple skill trees for travel, lifestyle, hobbies, and interests, job performance, and finance. And then we'll take a look at our logbook, which is currently empty because we've not flown yet. And then we have request route and wings of wealth, which I think ties into the GA aircraft, I believe. And then we have some notifications, some personal messages in our inbox. Our first message from Captain Steed. Nice. So basically a bit of a welcome message onto JetBlue, and I guess a few things to watch out for. So that's kind of cool that we get messages. And then let's take a look at our schedule, and you can see our first week, next week, and day 23, 32, 41. Wow, how many flights do I have to do? It's a long schedule. Do I have to do all these flights? I'm not sure, but our first flight is Fayetteville, and then we go to Orlando, and then Orlando again, and then Boston, and then Houston for our first 5-day trip. Next, we skip to day 10 because we do get a few days off, and then we fly to Toledo, Raleigh, Fort Lauderdale. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of flying, let's go ahead and jump in and do our first day of flights. Now the sim is running. We're going to click dispatch, and it changes our time of day a little bit here. You can see our sim is connected to FSU IPC, which is good. Our time and date is in the red, and our correct airport location is actually showing in the green. And we'll choose our aircraft, which is the one we created earlier, the A321, and we'll open Simbrief. After clicking open Simbrief, it actually will open Simbrief in another browser window. It would be nice if we could do this right inside the app, but it does import all of your flight data, your departure, your arrival, the aircraft, and then we'll go ahead and generate our flight plan right here on simbrief.com. Once it's done, we'll go ahead and close that out and go back to Fly the Lion, the application. We'll hit apply Simbrief, but I get a failure. I'm not sure why this is not working, but I don't think it's necessary, so we'll skip it. Next, I'm going to set my cruise altitude, which is going to be 38,000 feet for this flight, and then we'll set our countdown trigger to blocks off. So basically, it'll count down until we release the brakes. You can also set your countdown for takeoff if you want that. But once we're done here, we'll just hit go to aircraft, and that will start our sector. Okay, as you can see, the time has now been synced to the exact time that we're supposed to be departing, 45 minutes before our departure time, I should say. And now all that's left to do is hop in the cockpit and do the flight. Okay, we just got our clearance to take off here in JFK, runway 22 left. So we'll line up. Flex. V1 and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Oh yeah, that's a nice view. Honestly, at the end of the day, the whole purpose of a career mode is to kind of just give you a reason to fly. We're still flight simming. That part doesn't change. It's still the flight sim. But these career mode apps allow us to kind of give us a reason to fly. Because honestly, I would have never chose to do this specific route. And I looked it up, and this actual route is not even flown by JetBlue. Okay, so while we're on the climb out, it looks like we got another message from Captain Bennett. Again, kind of giving us like a pre-departure briefing. I guess I didn't catch this notification before leaving, but she sent us this message to kind of prepare us for the flight, which is kind of cool. It gives us some information on our departure airport. It gives us some information about our arrival airport, along with some tips about the airspace, what winds to expect, temperature, and some other pilot note down stuff. Pretty cool concept. I don't know how helpful this really is, but I don't mind the roleplay aspect of it. So while you're flying, the app is pretty much locked down. The only thing you can access is your inbox and the flight tracker. And then once we land, we get access to see all of our stats and stuff like that. So I didn't know this was required, but I just happened to open the app during the descent phase, and it has a pop-up here where it requests you to select a runway. So we'll click the drop down and we'll choose runway 22 and update the map. That'll now show us the, I guess, the touchdown area here at Fayetteville. Pretty cool, honestly, how they've coded that. But I guess this is gonna help them judge our landing. Alright, here we are, a short final into Fayetteville. We have been cleared to land. Watch out for this very high tree line right before the runway, even though we are just above the glide slope. Kinda sketchy.
Too low, terrain.
30.
Reverses route and a bit firm. I'll take it.
We need to get going, we're late.
Oh, okay. Apparently we're late now. And that was a message from the Fly the Line app. So it does actually have some voices that talk to you in different stages of flight. Not a lot, mainly just about time. Alright, we'll exit the runway, we'll go park, and we'll see how they graded us on this flight.
2500, welcome to Fayetteville. Contact ground on 121.7.
Okay, we're parked at the ramp, engines are off, and parking brake is set. And we'll go back to the Fly the Line application, and we'll go ahead, and you can see it shows that we are 3 minutes late to the gate, I guess. But we'll go ahead and hit in flight. And here's our score breakdown. We got a 94 out of 100. All positive, no negative. I like that. A very detailed graph of our flight profile, speeds. I mean, it recorded literally everything. That's actually pretty nice. That's pretty cool. So again, no negative, but for our aircraft, it shows us how many passengers we carried, cargo, our distance, max altitude, our departure times. So time gain loss, we were 5 minutes early on departure and 3 minutes late on arrival. So we lost some time in cruise. We have a total of 1 hour, 28 minutes. And our turnaround is 45 minutes, so it has our scheduled time versus our off block time. If we go to score breakdown, we can see we start with a score of 60. We got no negatives, plus 20 positives, and then we got a few little things, like I think our touchdown zone is what hurt us, and then our sink rate, which apparently was a negative 438, which is not that good. So I think that's the reason why we got such a low score. We did get some good stuff before our on-time performance, but we lost time, or we lost points on our landing, basically. And then we can take a look at the different phases of flights, like our takeoff, little graph showing our actual departure phase, and some feedback for our takeoff as well, which is really cool. Honestly, this has to be the most detailed flight log I've ever seen. an app do for Flight Sim. Again, all the different phases. We got climb and cruise, more feedback about the cruise, descent, the landing, feedback on our landing. Again, I've actually never seen anybody do anything like this, at least not this detailed. I think it's pretty impressive. You can tell a lot of time was spent on the flight tracking aspect of this. And then we have our entire route here. And we could actually hit play and it'll play through our entire flight track. So pretty cool. I'll hit continue. And there it is, flight complete. So we gained some XP. We got a little bit of holiday. We got some sector pay of $27 or euros. Not a lot of money. And we got some bonuses for landing and on time and touchdown and things like that. So cool. Alright, so that's a small step, right? Obviously there's a long way to go. Let's hit continue. And now we're back on our dashboard. And as you can see, we have our next flight going back to JFK. It actually shows that we had a late arrival by 3 minutes. So we have to make up for that, I guess, in the next flight. And it all bleeds in together, especially if you do 2 flights at the same time. So I'll hit dispatch because I actually am going to do a turnaround. And it shows we only have 32 minutes this time to turn the aircraft around and fly back to JFK. So I got to hurry. So I'll do the same thing we did last time. I'll get everything set up, get our Simbrief flight plan set up. And then I'll check in with you guys after the next flight. Alright, we're short final landing back at JFK. Let's hope to get a better landing than our first flight of 4:38. So, easing our way in here. Runway 22 right.
50, 30, 20, retard.
That felt better. Here comes the nose gear. And reversers are out. Alright, and we made it back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to New York City. Okay, we're parked at the gates. We are deboarding and we'll hit in flight. We're 17 minutes late this time. There was actually an issue with ATC where they sent us way out of the way. But anyways, 80 out of 100. So we got a worse rating this time. It's actually saying that the negative was our landing, which I thought our landing was better this time, but I guess they don't agree. So let's take a look at the score breakdown. So negative 12 there again because of our landing, and minus 17 minutes as well. So the landing plus the delay caused us to get a pretty low score on this landing. So let's continue. And we got some more XP. We got a little bit better sector pay. That was a little bit longer of a flight, but we got some bonuses. And shift complete. So we get a total of 50 XP. We got some skill points. We got shift pay and a holiday bonus. We have completed our first shift. Now, this is the interesting part. This is the after hours stuff. We got all these slots. We got all this free time. Now, we actually do have to work again tomorrow, but I guess this is just the time between the time that we've landed and the time we have to be back at work tomorrow. It's like, well, how are we going to spend our time? It shows on the left how much our meals cost, and we also have to consider, you know, how much money we spend on our off time too, so we can't just go ball out. Okay, what about hobbies? So there's a lot of different hobbies that we can do, but there's only a few that I guess we have access to. So what hobby should I do? I don't know, photography. Let's do baking. Why not? I don't know. Let's do baking as a hobby. All right, and it's gonna cost $50, I guess, to do that, and 1,000 calories. So it's also counting calories. That's actually pretty funny. Next, let's chill and relax. And let's see, what options do we have for chilling and relaxing? We got sleep, knitting, listen to music, do some meditation, puzzles. I think I'll listen to some music. So that's gonna cost us nothing, and also no calories. So that's a nice way to spend our free time. How else can we chill? Let's do a puzzle. Why not? Also, that's also a free way to get some rest. And we can click these and move them around. So maybe instead we leave work, we go exercise first. Maybe do some running. That's gonna take some calories away, and it's also free. And I'm actually gonna move baking to the back. Let's do social. I think we need to spend some time with some friends. How about we go for a walk with a friend? It'll also kill some calories, and it's also free. Actually, we'll just move some things around here. And I guess we'll sleep on the floor because we don't have a bed. So we do burn calories doing that. It's free. I don't know how much rest we're gonna get sleeping on the floor. So our final decision is, once we get off work, we'll go for a run, burn some calories. After our run, we'll meet up with a friend, and then we'll go do some baking, do a puzzle, listen to some music, and then sleep on the floor. But hey, after spending my life savings on flight training, this is probably what life looks like for early pilots. So notice that walking with a friend actually caused us to get fatigued. So I guess if we do enough active things, it'll actually count against our fatigue level, and it might affect our performance in our next day's work. I'm not sure how that affects us. So again, I think seeing this play out in the long run will get really interesting. So here's day 2, and we have a whole list of ways that we can improve. What we spent our money on yesterday, what our income was, what our current banking situation is. And then we'll hop on a bus and head back to work, and it shows us a kind of a quick view of what we'll be doing today. So we'll be heading out to Orlando and back, basically, for day 2. And here we are, day 2. So we got another message from our Captain Barrett, but let's go look at our stats real quick on our profile. And you can see there's a lot of movement here. We've obviously lived life last night. Wasn't that exciting, but it was cool hanging out with our friend, but it did affect us, you know, personally. And I mean, again, looking at this later on and how this kind of all evolves and changes, and it's going to be different, I think, for everybody, depending on the things that you choose. And to be honest with you, at first I thought, you know, what's the point of all this? But I don't know, it's kind of interesting to look at, I gotta admit. So really curious to see how Fly the Line plays out in the long run. And you're gonna have to play multiple schedules, multiple days, multiple sectors to really get the full extent of this application. So I'm looking forward to trying it. Let me know, chat, in the comments, if you want to kind of see me do a series off of this, if you like to continue, you know, pursuing Fly the Line, or if you like it for me to try something else, let me know. I'll definitely be, you know, basing, if I do another video, based on your comments and your feedback. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, you got 3 choices: give up, give in, give it all you got, and peace, love, God bless you. I'll see you guys next time, next video. I'm out.